grateful. And to the team, so one of them taught me a new word. You know, when somebody does something, he will say, a man with capacity. To the team, they are men with capacity. I'm grateful, and thank you so much for putting this together. And to all of you, and to the participants, wow. Wow, when they sent their entries, and then I said, okay, this is all wonderful, but you people will have to speak on a particular topic. A very few of them were like, are we going to do this? Are we going to do that? But you guys have done great. Yeah, I know the spoken word is a competition, but to be honest, you all are winners. In fact, you passed the test. You did well, and I'm grateful. Please clap for yourselves. Thank you so much. You did wonderfully well. It's a competition. Unfortunately, somebody has to be a winner, right? But the good thing is you guys did well, and you passed the test. And I wanted to speak, when I read a little, I'll look at you people and talk, but because of time, I'll just read down what I have. In my office, one of the compliments I do get is that Shai, you're very controversial. So the topic I'm going to share today, or I didn't even title it, what I'm going to say to you folks is it's a very controversial something or topic or talk, and it's still it's not primarily on the topic Nigeria morality, but still about us. It's still about Nigeria. It's still about all of us. So we all agree, and we are all on the same page on the fact that there is a problem in Nigeria, aren't we? And the truth is, the way we are going, the nations that have gone this way before us ended up failed states. Please, I want to make a disclaimer. This is not a political talk. I'm not supporting anybody. I'm not even going to call names of anybody. I'm not supporting, I'm not criticizing, but I just feel I should say the things that I'm about to say. So, like I said, there is a problem, and when everybody was sharing their piece, they pointed to the fact and confirmed my thinking and my observation that truly there is a problem in Nigeria. And like I just said, the way we are going, we will soon be a failed state. But I'm going to plead that you people shouldn't stone me. Like I said, I'm going to say something controversial. And in fact, I had it down, but let me say it's because of time. We really don't have time. And you folks have tried. And what I want to start with and prove is that the presidents, past and present, the governors, past and present, our politicians are not the problem or the reason why Nigeria is the way it is. And don't worry, it's not even us. I'm not going to say it's not the president, it is you or it is me. But that may come. But the good thing is that we've agreed that Nigeria has a problem. And you see, Nigeria is a beautiful country. And I don't know for those of you that have the mindset of running away. Well, I don't know if I will run away. But my dream and beliefs, I'm a writer, and as a writer, there are some things you will crave, and there are some things you will desire. And for me, one of them is that one day, I just, this kind of life, there's this life I'm desiring that you just buy a ranch somewhere or a farm, only you, acres of land, just only you and your poultry and your chicken and your goats, and you wake up in the morning, you sip tea, you write your story, you publish it, it sells, If you want to meet civilization, you drive to town, 15, 20, just simple life. But the way we are going, we may not be able to see all of that and all of those dreams come true. So truly, Nigeria, there is a problem. And maybe what I'm trying to do is to find a solution. Driving to this place, I was having a conversation with my brother, and he was talking about another speaker. And the funny thing is that what he was talking about, he said, what this speaker says and discusses is what, I was like, do you know what this guy is doing? Is what I want to do. Or exactly what he said is what I want to say. And why I want to say it is because I felt nobody was saying it. We all here can read and write, and we all here have aspirations, we have dreams, and I'm sure that some of us are, sometimes you'll be like, why is nobody doing this, and why can't we do this and see if there will be a change? So who knows? Maybe I'm preferring a solution to the Nigerian problem, and hopefully there will be a solution. You know, like I said, Nigeria is a beautiful country, geographically, people-wise, human capacity, everything, but we never hear ourselves say that. You never even hear people say that Nigeria is a beautiful country. You never hear people say, oh, Nigeria is wonderful, come to Nigeria, it's so beautiful. You know, you don't hear that. The things you hear is Nigeria is, in fact, the most that I've heard is embassies issuing advisories to its citizens, don't go here, don't go here, they'll kill you here, they'll kill you there. And it's quite unfortunate. We all agree it's quite unfortunate, don't we? So growing up, I used to hear things like good old days, you know, good old days. And then I checked the history book and I said, why can't we go back to the good old days and do the things we were doing then so that things can be better? I checked the history books and the truth is, I didn't see any good old days. I didn't see any good old days. I am sure we all understand because we are feeling it. So Nigeria is a poor country, Nigeria is undeveloped, Nigeria is corrupt, Nigeria is a third world country. All these are negative descriptions of Nigeria. For a country to be developed, it is agreed that certain institutions should be strong and worthy. I'm going to give random facts. Like I said, I don't want to call names, but it is not the president or the leaders. And even getting PVC will not be the reason or the solution to the Nigerian problem. To be a developed country, institutions should be working. Institutions such as schools. Education is the bedrock of civilization, but unfortunately in Nigeria, we hear such things as illiterate teachers, ill-equipped schools, dilapidated school buildings, nonchalant, non-caring teachers. In secondary school, we hear malpractice, cultism in our time, leaks of JAMB and WAEC questions, you know. We keep hearing things that are not good and healthy for our educational system. Hospitals, we hear negative reports. We hear cases of medical negligence. Governments, stories of corruption, misappropriation of funds. Family institutions, most of us are not proud of where we are from. Corporate world, they are not law-abiding. So, what is the problem? Why is it that Nigeria is backward? Why is it that we are a third world nation? Why is it that we are undeveloped? Why is it that we rank high on every negative statistics in the world? Anything negative, we rank high there. My wonderful participants have said a lot about these things. So I was doing a research for this talk. According to the Global Finance on the list of the poorest countries, Africa has 9 out of the first 10 poorest countries in Africa. 18 out of the first 20 poorest countries in the world, Africa alone. The African Americans are the largest racial group in the United States of America. Statistics say it is indigenous Indians, but they are only 1.1% of the population, whereas the African Americans is 12.2%. What this is saying is that in Africa, we are in the world, in the first 10, first 20 poorest countries in the world, we are ranking highest. We have 18 countries. Africa has 18 countries. And as if that is not enough, it extended to the western borders in the sense that the African Americans, by statistics, are the poorest in America. The African Americans, you know, when you check statistics, they will tell you it's the American Indians. But when you check and see the highest in number, you find that it is the African Americans. The same statistics extend to every single developed world, and it is a fearful prospect for us. A few years back, I was reading the news. I can't even remember the site, but I never knew. It just stuck with me. I was reading the news online, and I was scrolling through, and the news correspondent said something like, do you know that Australia is the most, or one of the most urbanized countries in the world, with 86% of its population living in cities. It went further. He said, the world sees Australia as an urbanized country. The world sees Australia as a civilized country. But many do not know that Australia has a rural part, or there is a rural side to Australia. There is a ghetto to Australia. It went further. He said that, and the unfortunate thing about this rural part or this rural area is that there have been cases of murder and kidnappings and the same things, the things we are experiencing in Nigeria. I kept scrolling and I kept reading. It said recently the authorities in Australia went to this place and they apprehended a man. And they apprehended a man. And the man, I kept scrolling, and as the news continued, it said recently there was a murder of the killing of a nurse who was working with a charity organization that went to this rural area. I kept reading, and then lo and behold, as I was scrolling down, it was the face of a black man. So in Africa, we are poor. In the world, we are poor. In countries like America, we are poor. UK, we are poor. Then you go to Australia that is urbanized. We still find our way to the ghetto. So here's my question. If the Nigerian presidents, both past, present, governors, past and present, are the reason why Nigeria is undeveloped and Nigerians are poor, there is poverty, terrorism, why is it that in America, which we all agree is a beautiful democracy with exemplary leaders, the poorest people are still blacks? So, there was a time we were having a conversation, and somebody was talking about how beautiful the Western world leaders are, and he said, "Do you know this Western world prime minister? We saw he was on a train and he was riding a train to work. These people are so wonderful. These people are so beautiful." And everybody was like, "Yes." So we all agree that the United States of America has a beautiful democracy. It has a beautiful government. It has beautiful leaders and wonderful leaders. So we all agree. And some of us, and I think I've heard some people say, why can't our leaders be like American leaders? So I'm asking the question again. If these leaders that we think are wonderful ruled their own country and we ended up poor over there, what makes you think that if they come to Nigeria that we won't still be poor here? If we import, and I believe, and I strongly believe, if we import the best American president, tell him to rule Nigeria, he will still fail. That is why I believe, I'm not calling any president's name, that's why I believe that most of us will keep shouting, our leaders are leaders, our leaders. I really don't believe that our leaders are the problem or the reason why things are the way it is. I will never push the blame to them, and I will never say they are the reason why we are the way we are. Statistics also has it that African Americans have the highest number of illiterates in the United States. And guess what? There's this statistics I'm going to share with us. There is this comparison I'm going to make. In the United States of America, the majority of the population are white, with about 61% of the population are as whites of European origin, and blacks are minority. Did you get what I said? In America, the whites are the majority and the blacks are the minority. But in America, the poorest are the blacks, the most illiterate are the blacks, and the most incarcerated are the blacks. Let us come to South Africa. Why I'm picking South Africa is because it is a unique situation in the sense that there are whites that call South Africa their home. They are called Afrikaners. They migrated the way blacks migrated to America. They migrated down to South Africa. In South Africa, Blacks are the majority. Whites are the minority, about 7%. Blacks are about 80-something percent. And guess what? Also in South Africa, blacks are the poorest. They are the most illiterate, and they are the most incarcerated. Am I making sense? So in America, we are minority, we are poor, we are black, we are poor, we are illiterate, and we are the most imprisoned. In South Africa, where we are the majority, we are poor, we are the illiterate, we are the most illiterate, and we are the most incarcerated. Why do you think that is? These countries are not Nigeria. Like I said, the participants, they truly, truly tried, and they passed the test. Because most of them kept saying, you and I. They didn't say the leaders. So, I want us to apply a little bit of critical thinking by making sure that before we leave here, we will live with the mindset that there is a problem, there is a solution, but it is not the one that is popular. Are you with me? So Nigeria is the way it is, not because of the president. If I tell you what I think it is, it won't strike you as new, it won't strike you as fresh, it won't strike you as eye-opening. The truth is, you've heard it so many times. The truth is, you've encountered it. It is not a he, it is not a she, it is a word. However, it is a living word. It is a thing that is not living, but is alive. Should I tell you people? Do you want to hear? Am I controversial? Somebody said I'm controversial. How am I controversial? I just gave you statistics. You can actually check it out on your own if you want to. I'm telling you, that's what I hear the most. Showing you are very controversial. So I'll tell you what I think it is. Do you know what it is? It is culture. Told you. Are you wondering why it is culture? We hear culture all the time. We hear culture all the time. Culture is not a new word. It is not a scientific word. It is not a mysterious word. Most of us know what it is. The beautiful thing is that most of you seated here think you are unique. You think you're special. You think you are just only you. You think you are so wonderful that there's nobody. Amaka, what nickname is reigning now? Amaka 001 or things like that. You think you are so unique, you are so special. You are a product of culture. There's nothing unique about you. There's nothing special about you. There's nothing new. There's nothing fantastic. Whatever you do, the way you talk, the clothes you wear, the language you speak, the food you like, everything is a product of culture. Everything is a product of culture. So now I'll be looking to my material because I wrote down something and I'll just read through. From my research and my readings, I can give you the good news that our problem is not nature. Why I started here is because it is believed that scientific. How many of do we have any psychologists here? Do we have psychology students here? Are there medical students here? Nobody's answering. I must be controversial. Or you don't want to defend your field again. Are you scared? So, science believes that there are two things that make you who you are. That make you act the way you do, think the way you do, reason the way you do the things you do. Science believes that these two things are nature and nurture. Nature and nurture. What am I talking about? I'm talking about gene and environment. I'm talking about biology and society. So there's a good news. Because it scares me that when you hear that the most incarcerated in the US, blacks, most incarcerated in South Africa, blacks, most illiterate, blacks. It's quite, I was thinking, could there be something? I appreciate all of you, and you people are scholars, so maybe you can join in the thinking, what is the problem and what is the solution? So I was thinking, could it be something? Could it be something biological? Could it be something in our gene, inside of us, that is making us, let's look at it. Over there, you see an 18-year-old, 16-year-old, he or she will stay in his or her garage, and before you know it, there are things like Facebook, there are things like Yahoo, but then a Nigerian will, whatever he is, wake up, and before you know it, there are things like Yahoo, and there are things like Facebook fraud. We introduce the negative, always introducing the negative. So I was wondering, what could be the problem? What could be the situation? So the good news is that at least science has it that it is not nature, it is not biology, it is not your gene, it is not that black people were made somewhere. So I'm going to read out something that I extracted from this book, and I'll read it word for word. It says that it's about the theory that it is not nature, it is not gene, it is not biology. 150 years ago, Dr. Samuel George Morton of Philadelphia was the most distinguished scientist in the United States. When he died in 1851, the New York Tribune wrote that probably no scientific man in America enjoyed a higher reputation among scholars throughout the world than Dr. Morton. Dr. Morton collected and measured human skulls. The skulls came from various times and places. The original occupants were of different races. Morton believed that he could show that the bigger your brain, the smarter you were. He packed BB-sized shots into a skull until it had full. Next, he poured the shot from the skull into a graduated cylinder. He then recorded the volume of shots in the cylinder. Finally, he noted the race of the person from whom each skull came. This, he thought, allowed him to draw conclusions about the average brain size of different races. As he expected, Morton found that the races ranking highest in the social hierarchy had the biggest brains, while those ranking lowest and the smallest had the smallest brains. He claimed that the people with the biggest brains were whites of European origin. Next were Asians, then came Native Americans. The people at the bottom of social hierarchy, and with those with the smallest brain, and those with the smallest brains were African Americans, you and I. Please let us clap for ourselves. Morton's research and profound sociological implications, for he claimed to show that the system of social inequality in the United States and throughout the world had natural biological roots. If an average member of some racial group are rich and others poor, some highly educated and others illiterate, some powerful and others powerless, that was, said Morton, due to differences in brain size and mental capacity. Moreover, because he used science to show that Native Americans and African Americans naturally rest at the bottom of the social hierarchy, his ideas were used to justify oppressive forms of domination and injustice. Despite claims to be scientific, objectively, not a shred of evidence supported Morton's ideas. For example, in one of his 3 main studies, Morton measured the capacity of Continue. So this is a modern day scientist, critiquing and condemning Morton's experiments, so-called experiments. Objectively, not a shred of evidence supported Morton's ideas. For example, in one of his 3 main studies, Morton measured the capacity of skulls robbed from Egyptian tombs. He found the average volume of black people's skulls was 4 cubic inches smaller than the average volume of white people's skulls. This seemed to prove his case. Today, however, we know that three main issues comprise his findings. Martin claimed to be able to distinguish the skulls of white and black people by the shapes of their skulls. However, even today, archaeologists cannot precisely determine race by skulls. As a result, it is unclear whether the skulls Martin identified as Caucasian belong to white people and those identified as Negroid or Negro belong to black people. Martin's skulls formed a small, unrepresentative sample. Martin based his conclusions on only 72 specimens. This is a very small number on which to base a generalization. Moreover, those 72 skulls are not representative of the skulls of white and black people in ancient Egypt or any other time and place. They are just the 72 skulls that Martin happened to have access to. For all we know, they are highly unusual. Even if we ignore these first problems, 71% of the skulls Martin identified as Negro or Negro were women's, compared to only 48% of the skulls he identified as Caucasian. Yet women's bodies, on average, are smaller than the bodies. To make a fair comparison, Martin would have had to make sure that the sex composition of the white and black skulls were identical. He did not. Instead, he biased his findings in favor of finding larger white skulls. When we compare Martin's black and white female skulls, the white skulls are only 2 cubic inches bigger. When we compare his black and white male skulls, the white skulls are 1 cubic inch smaller. Scientifically speaking, Martin's findings are meaningless, yet they were influential for a long time. So no scientist or science believes that our problem is biological. So that's good news, right? We don't have a brain problem. Let me not say mental. We don't have a brain problem. So, but literature, scientific literature and research points rather clearly to environment and society and culture being the culprits for Nigeria's woes. Culture can be defined as a program of shared rules that govern the behavior of people in a community or society, and a set of values and beliefs shared by most members of that community and passed from one generation to another. So we learn culture by socialization. Culture is simply saying this is a way of life. As a man, there is a clothes you're supposed to wear. As a woman, there's a clothes you're supposed to wear. As a man, you play roles. As a woman, you play roles. Do you understand? These are behaviors. And what's defined these behaviors? It is culture. And there are means that you acquire culture. We agree that we acquire culture through socialization. And agents of socialization that we have are families, schools, peer groups, and the mass media. So scientists strongly believe that culture has a bigger impact on who you are, why you do the things you do, why you reason the way you are. Culture is simply environment. Let me paint a picture. If there is war in Nigeria now, all of us won't be seated here. Who knows who I will be? Some of you will be fighter jets pilots. Some of you will be in Navy. Some of you will be in Marine. Some of you will be in the Army. Why are you there? Because there is war. So society and the times we are in determines what you see, what you take in, and what you give out. So the problem that we have is that our culture is actually broad, but I will point out two things that I would like to share with you. And the first one is quite important. And why I'm doing this is so that there will be at least a shift in thinking. John B. Watson said in his belief of environment that it shapes you, he said, "Give me a dozen healthy infants, well formed, and my own specified word to bring them up in. And I'll guarantee to take anyone at random and train him to become any type of socialist. I might select doctor, lawyer, artist, yes, and even beggar man and thief, regardless of his talents, pendants, tendencies, abilities, locations, and race of his ancestors. So, it is strongly believed that the environment makes you who you are. There is a story of a family that had twins, and in the hospital, an accident happened, a mistake happened, and the parents, they had two babies, right? And they went home with only one child because of that mistake. And guess what? The parents that went on with one of the twin, they were wealthy, they were educated, they were well placed in life. The other twin baby didn't die. However, he was adopted by a prostitute. And guess what? Later on and years later, the child that was adopted by the educated, wealthy parents became an engineer and a lover of classic music. Guess what the child that was adopted by the prostitute became? A pickpocket. He became a thief. What do you think happened? Environment. The things they were exposed to, the opportunities they were given. So, one of the cultures that we have in Nigeria that is killing us and we should kill before it kills us is the blame game. The what? The what? Are we sleeping? Am I controversial? It's the blame game, the irresponsibility in us. In the USA now, ask the black man, why are you poor, why are you illiterate? He will say, it is racism. Racism is the reason. You come to Nigeria, why are you poor, why are you illiterate? Why are you a bandit? Why are you a terrorist? The leaders, it is the leaders, they are killing us. So when there were no leaders, you ask them, why are you illiterate? Why are you poor, why are you backward? The slave masters. They stole our fathers. And if that's not enough, the colonial masters, they came and they ruined everything. We are always pointing a finger. You go to South Africa, ask them, why are you poor? Why are you illiterate? Apartheid. It's apartheid. Apartheid is the reason why we are poor. Get your PVC. This, we are always working, always pointing, always blaming the next person, always claiming it is that person. You know, in the US, people are so proud of the projects. They'll tell you, yeah, I'm from the projects. What's the project? That's ghetto. They are proud of that. So we are always pointing our fingers. We are always blaming somebody. And South Africa, unfortunately, there's the xenophobic attacks now. But this is not why I'm calling them out. I've actually had this in my mind a long time ago. In South Africa, the whites are the minority. Ask them, why are you poor? Why are you apartheid? Apartheid was taken away. Apartheid was dismantled. And let me say this for a fact. During apartheid, I hope some of us, do we know what apartheid is? The concept. It was the fact that whites, who were the minorities, were ruling the blacks, who were majority in South Africa. So at the time, they fought and overthrew and said, no, we don't want white people to rule us. We are the majority. This is our country. These are our continents. We should be ruling. Apartheid was removed. They still remain the most poor, illiterate, and now apartheid was removed, and now it's other Africans. They are coming here, stealing our jobs. They are still poor. They are still illiterate. So it is no longer apartheid. It is now other Africans. It is now other migrants. Always pointing, always blaming. So please, The guy that prayed, he said it is his prayer that we should live here with something. Please, if you are living here with anything, live here with an informed mind. It is not our leaders that is the problem. Because if they are, why is it that the countries with the best leaders, we are still the poorest over there? So, I believe I've made my point. There are a lot of excuses that we come up with. There's this beautiful one. Nigeria is just 50 years old. America is 300 years old. Nigeria is just 68 years old. America is this years old. You know, we keep making excuses, and we've done justice to morality. Another one is immorality in us. In immorality, the moral culture in our country is so poor and so down that it is killing and affecting everybody. I know you people are tired, I know you are weary, and I know you have engagements, but please, I beg you, indulge me. I won't be long. But it is good that you go to something, and you live there with something. Please, I beg you, just a little bit more time. So, we've done good justice to immorality. Immorality is another reason why Nigeria is not moving forward. I'll just share these quotes for you, and I'll leave that topic alone. Francis Fukuyama observed in his book, Trust, the Social Virtues and the Creation of Prosperity. He says, why do some societies become wealthier, more innovative, and better organized than others? He said, economic success depends not only on markets, on laws, technology, or government policy, but also on social trust. The expectation that other people will behave honestly, cooperatively, and according to shared moral norms. What he is saying is morality will make Nigeria develop faster than the things we claim will make Nigeria develop. So let us kill the excuse mentality. It is the white man, it is the colonial masters, it is everybody, but never us. So the good news I also want to share is that culture can be changed. Culture was made by men, and men can change culture. You and I can change culture. Thank you. So I'm not controversial, right? You know, so the truth is, we've had the best of the best. We've had Muslims, there's somebody say we've had Muslims, we've had Christians, we've had military men, we've had businessmen, everybody, they've ruled this country. But we are still where we are. Even Okonjo Iweala has at one time had a political, she was a minister, so I don't know if she had a position, a ruling position in this country. And she was a minister of finance. So, and there was no effect. So why this is because we are expecting one man to make the change. We are expecting one person to make the change. When they say Nigeria is corrupt, it is 200 million people that are corrupt, not the ruling class. We are expecting one man to make a change, and somebody has already said my quotes. 1 tree cannot make a forest. I would have told you a Christian story about Emperor Constantine. At the time, it was beautiful and popular culture. It was enjoyable. It was a game. It was a thing of fun. People went to the arena to see it. I'm talking about killing Christians for sports. But this man came and said, you know what, this is not nice. And guess what? The thing that was entertainment became disgusting. So if I am leaving you with anything, please apply critical thinking, because very soon you people will be graduates. You people are, when they say you are the leaders of tomorrow, you people are the leaders of tomorrow. You are going to enter the society. Don't come and join us. It is the president, it is the colonial master. Don't come and join us. Come with solutions. Come with better options. Come with things that will make Nigeria develop. I can assure you, you can get 1 million PVC, bring Obama to rule. If we are the way we are, nothing will change. I believe you are wasting your time because we keep the blame game. We are expecting only the president. Let the president. Well, the president will. So I leave you with this. Thank you. There are so many things I skipped here, but I will skip them because I believe I've made my points, and I will leave you with this. If you want a better Nigeria, if you want Nigeria to be developed and prosper, then whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are of good reports, if there be any virtue and if there be any praise, do them and watch Nigeria prosper and develop. So, you can be a culture changer. Don't say I'm too small. Because I was thinking people stole me with bottle when I said to people it's not a problem. So, you are the lights. You are the lights. And if we all light up, we can scare away the dark. Thank you.